Blog Talk Radio.
Whoops. What up, everybody? This is Manny Speakeasy back on the air. And sorry about that. And here we go. Today is one of our normal Wednesday episodes, obviously. And today we have the topic for my, I was going to say dissertation, but I don't think that word's appropriate here. For my canvas that is my episode today will be something that I've been really appropriated with lately, being unemployed. These don't all directly tie into being unemployed or whatnot, but some of them do. And then at the end, we're going to make some announcements for further shows and stuff that'll be on the website. Here we go. First one is it's called Underemployment, Undereducation, Over-socialized. I'll just get right into it, and then I'll kind of explain what the point of this poem is. My tie is tidy. My smile isn't too wide. My clothes are pressed. Not a hair or button out of place. The coffee breath and cigarette stench I've always loathed permeated, lingered, and killed all sense. I told them I stood up for their disdain. I told them I stood up for everything they stood against. Armed at spectators, lacrimatory agent spit its gas out onto our demonstrations. They beat us down. Cold and black made sense for the uniforms and nightsticks, guns even. Even we were hired guns. Repetition and reparation erase the history they don't want you to know. Their hits kept coming. After too long, their hits were softened by those instruments of torture. With each blow, we get the feel as consistency, regularity, and routine turns us to complacency. For that we do not start to care. We start to not care. We are hurt. Devolve into your downward spiral, losing feeling. Eventually, we won't care. We're dead. Because when we grew up, had kids too early, had no home for them, and didn't know how to take care of them, we wised up. When even the kinless shoveled their filth for too long, they wised up. Signs, sloganeering, and protests dissipated. Groups grew apart. Fear for disillusionment of family or complete severance elicited a ceasefire. Messages ceased. Words became meaningless like our lives. And that one was called Underemployed, Undereducated, Over-socialization. Over, obviously, not under. That's my you could call it a Yuppie Anthem, I guess, because when I was writing it, I was just, looking at certain things. I was actually, my inspiration for that, I was watching a Kurt Cobain documentary, and I'm not a huge fan of his work, but I've always been interested in how, people take different takes on his life, and I've been interested on the contradiction that was his life. But part of what came up about it was about how he grew up and how he was raised with, a bunch of yuppies who, they were actually hippies who, transferred to different, communes and stuff, and how they didn't really sell out. The end of my poem demonstrates that most of yuppies did, but they kind of just didn't take care of them, and they weren't good parents. That's his opinion, I guess. I don't know. But that kind of gave me the inspiration for that, because I would hope that I would never end up like a yuppie, because I would never want to sell myself out. But the idea of selling out is so skewed, and it's so perpetuated beyond its means, it's not even funny. I don't really care what kind of social sponsors, or not social, economic, business sponsors that you have. To me, the only way you can truly sell out is if you do something that does not apply within your character. When you lose yourself, that's the only way you could sell out. So, even a drug addict, for example, if that's what they love to do and that's part of them, you know what? If that's not a part of them, or if because of the drug they do things they shouldn't do, you could say they sold out in some opinions. Just because somebody puts a song on a commercial, that doesn't mean that person who made the song is a sellout. If I were to get a business sponsor for my work, that doesn't mean I'm a sellout. So I'm only a sellout if I do it just for the money. But if I have a reason behind it, and it's a reason that applies within my character, I ain't no sellout. And anyone who thinks I am, you know where to kick it. That's all I got to say. Because I don't really give a damn for your opinion. The next one, I read this before on a certain piece a few weeks ago, but it ties into the one that I'm going to read after it. This next one's called Plan, and the one after it's called Wilbury's Ghost Town. And I'm just going to read them both simultaneously, or as simultaneously as I can. So you get the idea that they're kind of one piece. Oh, here we go. I noticed bark, branch, and leaf. Soupy sienna darken as ground floor reaches. Their hard browns blend into the grass green emanating. Beauty splashes all retinas. Orange syrupy sap seeped into the soft dirt. Stumps held strong like a lumberjack's torso, never sturdier. On this glorious late spring day, atmosphere of clearing filled with dry, clean air, and the blooming puff of cumulus envelop. Trees one most gulping, rays and sapping oxygen, but not quite. But not quite. In two pens' signatures, we witnessed the fall. Bold, complex, and colorful maps demarcated the time and space. businessmen smiled and gathered with their hard hats. These troglodytes snapped their fingers, and subservient drones offered up iced double margaritas. Background calls crept into the forefront. Bulky, piss-yellow bulldozers readied, waiting for the final signal. 3, 2, 1! Another snap of those stubby fingers ignited a crew of monstrous vehicles roaring toward the defenseless trees. Sharp metal claws raked into the once peaceful bark. Wheels pressed up against the stumps, colliding into the wood and sap. Leaves rustled, tumbling down into the curved arms and their jagged edges. Roots all snapped into 2 or 5, maybe. Listen, the noise deafened far. Moreover, those laughs nauseated further. Those trees all fell for a reason. The suits, laughs, smiles, and real estate signs proved it. Traveling. The fearful falling of the Wilburys shaped out a destination much like manifest destiny. It's the manifest destiny of the business world. Mall of America became malls of America. Families found new constitutions to raise their kids from, while the protesters, some of which who reluctantly reside now in these houses, lost sight of their vision. Deforestation became a more popular chant, a snark of satirical derision, much like, I am not a crook, or I didn't have sexual relations with that woman. Everyone sold themselves out. Those who profited didn't give a damn about the world around them. Those who never would submitted to the wealthy, hoarding their power. Territorial country and brushed back lands. A serene ghost town of severed power lines. Bushy lines of leftover fur and the pieced debris littering the toxic dirt. Excess unfinished construction and dutiful landmines leave this piece deconstructed paradise of hell. Sun-soaked rotted trees surrounding the empty forest grant a pact for that hope cannot be found. I can't even begin to comprehend what goes through the minds of the yuppies who made this look like this. Fuck the Wilburys! Fuck your plans! These aren't plans. These are deaths. Even the foliage breathes. Even the dirt drinks. Even the rats, birds, and squirrels live. That is, until the humans took all their lives. All right, that was a two-piece part playing in Wilbury's Ghost Town. And I wrote that all mall is a symbol of what deforestation and Factoria can do to this country. We don't need any more malls of America. We have one. We don't need any more developments. We have enough. We don't have enough in certain places, and we're not building them there. That is, say, inner cities, certain rural, impoverished areas, especially out in other countries like, say, Africa, Haiti, certain places in Asia. But we just, everyone knows how that works by now. Not everyone, but a lot of people know how that works. And I don't like it at all. I don't support it. And I will refuse to support it for my future being, because I just don't care about malls and shit. I mean, I go sometimes, but I'm not down with taking away our forests and ruining our nature's landscape. And how does that imply with unemployment? Well, at the end, when they rip those malls down and do nothing with the land, and the land's ruined, people lose jobs as well. And that's also a bad side effect of Factoria. Which is funny, that term, I don't know if that's an actual term, but I heard it because I was watching this documentary on the Lonesome Crowded West, the great Modest Mouse album, and they were talking about where they grew up and malls being put up and stuff. I guess it was partly my inspiration too. And one of the band members mentioned the word or the term Factoria. That's where I got it from. It's kind of weird, but anyway, that's that poem, or a two-piece poem. This next one is called E.E. It's about the writer and poet E.E. Cummings. And I wrote this because E.E. Cummings, well, actually, I don't think, I can't remember where I got this from. Well, I did get this from somewhere, but it's basically what E.E. Cummings would say, because he made a book called No Thanks that had 70 poems in it. Well, no, he didn't name it. He named it 70 poems, but he mentioned the places that he didn't get published at. And that's what I mentioned in this poem as well. So this one's called E.E. I am E.E. Cummings. 70 poems is out, but not without wrongdoing or guilt. I have had to borrow and steal my way to the top. My dear poor old mother is nearly broke for supporting me. My friends have abandoned me for being an asshole and freeloading off them. But not for long. These words were not for you originally. They were set for my vindication. This is my vindication, though. I am renaming my book to No Thanks. Why? Because I say no thanks to Farrar and Reinhardt, Simon and Schuster, Coward McCann, Limited Editions, Harcourt Brace, Random House, Equinox Press, Smith and Haas, Viking Press, Knopf, Dutton, Harper's, Scribner's, Calvisi 3D. Fuck you all and enjoy my metaphorical urn, or symbolic. Who cares? You get the fucking picture. And yes, that one was called EE. And again, that was more out of his story, the story of his life, story of that person's life, because as it says, he basically had to freeload off of everybody until he finally found a place to get his work published. And I understand that part of it as well, because, you know, the idea of just continuously knowing that your work is good and not getting it published is just a crying shame, and it really does. It really can tax the nerves a little bit if you don't have the right mindset. I just feel as though sometimes publishers aren't looking for the right things, and they're looking for whatever satisfies them or something or another. You have to. I think you would have to, and this could go for anything. I think you would kind of have to be a writer and be publishing, trying to sell your work, trying to get your work published, to really know the full gist of how it feels to keep getting turned down. It can relate in some ways to a lot of people who are unemployed now and looking for jobs, and they keep getting turned down for whatever reasons. Most of them are probably bullshit, especially for people who have records. I mean, people who have records, I mean, it's like, fuck you, we don't care, especially felonies. And you could definitely say you gotta know that's coming, but, you know, people do make mistakes and they deserve second chances. I don't think they deserve third chances. I've said this before. I mean, I'll give almost anybody a second chance, barring extreme circumstances. But I'll give almost nobody a third chance. Because once I give them a third chance, then whatever they do to me is on me, because I knew better. But, you know, that's life, though. You deal with that stuff, and you got to live with it and go through it and get over it. All right. My next work. Broke. How poignant. 'Cause that's what happens. I was probably a week away from going there recently. But then I fortunately got my unemployment benefits back and might be starting a job tomorrow. We'll see what goes on with that. But anyway, here's broke. Broke. Penniless, shirtless, barefoot. The hot, steamy summer sun bakes your skin. The distress boils your heart. You spill your body onto the melting asphalt. After all, those faded shorts would rip anyway. Broke, thoughtless, emotionless, heartless. You can't even pour out a face. The sun has rearranged it. You are not even you anymore. Numb to the soul, you become comatose. What's worse? You tell me. Now that one is called Broke. Pretty poignant there. I don't think I really have to explain that one too much. It's just, would you feel worse broke monetarily, or would you feel worse broke morally? Me personally, I would definitely feel worse emotionally. Broke emotionally, I should say, or broke morally. I do not necessarily believe in nihilism, so I want to keep my morals because I believe, everyone who has morals can keep them, and thus morals do exist within them if they keep their own. They may not exist to the rest of the world, but they exist to them. And I think in life, what we do in life can be summed up to that as well. Whatever we do exists as long as we believe it does, even if it really doesn't. But that's my point. If we believe it exists and we do it, then it really does exist. One last piece here. I rarely do this because I think the idea of reading song lyrics and stuff is corny to do on here. Plus, I was reading other people's work on my videos in the past, but I kind of got bored with that. I might do that again, though, actually. I'll probably do a show about that sometime in the future. But this is poignant to the unemployment or having the need to get a job. As I pointed out earlier about a Modest Mouse album, I want to confess to everybody I'm one of the biggest Modest Mouse fans you'll know. I love everything with them. That's one of my favorite bands ever, and they inspire a lot of the work I do through their lyrics, their music, even their interviews on what they have to say. They do inspire me a lot, and I guess maybe this is, I don't want to say a tribute to them, but their song Custom Concern really sounds poignant for the stretch and the idea for needing to find a job. So, here we go. Custom Concern. Their custom concern for the people. Build up the monuments and steeples to wear out the eyes. I get up just about noon. My head sends a message for me to reach for my shoes, then walk. Gotta go to work, gotta have a job. Goes through the parking lot fields, doesn't see no signs that they will yield, and then thought, this will never end. This will never end. This will never stop. Message read on the bathroom wall says, I don't feel at all like I fall. And we're losing all touch. Building a desert. That's wrote work that might be lyrically one of their best songs. But I thought it was pretty poignant for the topic at hand today. All right, that's the last piece on this show. Thank you all who have listened and who will listen. I appreciate it. Again, as I've said in the past, let's get these callers in. We get some callers in, that would be great. This show will be expanded if we get a regular influx of callers. Because that's the ultimate point here. I don't want to just read my work. I want to hear other people's work. And I want to read other people's work. Because I know there's a lot of other great poets out there and writers who should be heard. And this isn't just a poetry speakeasy. This is anything within the spoken word can be said here. You want to talk politics, you want to talk anything, I don't care. But as I said, that's all for today. Next week, I'm going to do 2 shows. I probably won't do another show this week. We'll see. I probably won't, though. I don't have an urge to do it this week. But next week, we're going to have 2 shows. They're going to both be on mental health issues because I feel as though that's a topic that needs to be discussed. It is not discussed enough, and we're going to get to it. One will be like the politics week. One will be a poem-based show. The other will be a talk-based show. But anyway, check out for that. Probably Wednesday will be my next show next week. Next Wednesday. Thank you all. Goodbye.